Hey guys, I'm here with Grandmaster Eugene Perelshteyn.
Hey everybody.
And so last year I was recording these post-mortem videos with Isaac, who's a mutual friend. He's Eugene's
Shout out
student.
to Isaac. We miss you.
Yeah, I know he's really wanting to be here. And we're basically just going to go over our round one games here from the 2018 Reykjavik Open. And I'll start with Eugene's game.
Yep. So today was a really tough game for me. I played a FIDE master from Germany, Dirk Maxian, and I'm black. So let's look at that game together. So e4, c5, knight f3, g6. I'm playing my beloved accelerated dragon that everybody probably already knows that I played this opening. But here I didn't play c takes d4. Not necessarily because it's a bad move or anything like that. Was I afraid of anything? Here he can take with the queen or the knight even, and just a normal position
after Marazzi.
Yeah, Marazzi bind after this, for instance, knight to c4. Nothing special. So I decided to mix things up. After d4 I played bishop g7. So it just gives me a little bit more options. For instance, if you play c4, try to get the Marazzi bind, I don't have to take the pawn.
Right.
So I can play d6, I can play queen b6 or even queen a5 check.
Yeah, a lot of annoying lines.
So lots of options basically. So my opponent didn't deal with that. He plays d5 instead, which now we get into a totally different setup. This is called the Benoni structure. Typically in the Benoni the pawn goes to c4, but in this game knight went to c3. So after the moves here, knight c3, I castled, bishop e2, and the benefit of my move order is that I get to play this move b5 in one go, and that's what I play. The idea is that if bishop takes b5, knight takes e4, that's a cute tactic, and now queen a5 check, and he's gonna either drop the bishop or bishop takes c3 first, and this queen c3 allows bishop d2, and it's not clear.
Yeah.
Queen takes b5, and he can't castle. I think my pawn structure is just much better.
Yeah.
So he plays a very sharp move, e5. So that's where the complications kind of start. So I play knight g4, hitting the pawn. So I don't mind the trade of the central pawn for the side pawn, and he correctly plays bishop f4. So now situation is kind of very dangerous for me because he's about to play this move h3, hit the knight, and he's got full control over the center. So I better do something fast. So that's why I play b4 and d6. So this is actually a line. It's considered to be really double-edged, but from what I remember during the game, this is actually not so bad for black.
Right.
He actually plays the main principal move takes, and castle. But let me quickly tell you guys that I wasn't afraid of bishop d6, even though this looks crushing. He's attacking my rook and the pawn because of this very nice move, rook e8. And bishop's under attack. He can't really do anything. The knight's under attack too. And if he takes, I have this beautiful intermezzo taken here with the threat of bishop a6, hitting e2, and the bishop on b8 is also under attack. So I think he's just probably losing here.
Yeah. Oh, you can make errors if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after knight takes d6, then during the game I was calculating this line, bishop takes b2, and he can try castle to sack the exchange. I can take it right away, or I kind of like queen f6, hitting the bishop and the knight and the rook. And so after this, he played castle, so he didn't allow any of this. And now d-pawn is under attack, so I just drop back. Again, bishop takes d6 doesn't work here because knight takes knight. If knight takes d6, there's a really cute intermezzo. Knight h5 hitting the bishop, and the bishop doesn't have any good squares, and the knight's hit. And if he takes on c8, I'm going to take on f4 first, and knight is simply trapped.
Yeah, it's an important move for like any King's Indian Benoni players.
Yeah,
right?
This is very important intermezzo stuff. So luckily, I'm not losing any material here, but he plays bishop g5, which is really annoying move. Now my knight is pinned. If I play h6, he's going to take on f6 and win the h-pawn. So I play rook e8 first, and he plays knight fd2. So I think this is some kind of theory, and now apparently I should have just simply played bishop f5, which we figure out is the best move, but after knight g3 I have nothing better than just to take the repetition. Obviously guys, when you play a lower rated opponent, you don't want to take an early draw, so that didn't even cross my mind, and I played the more aggressive move, h6. Here he plays very interesting chess. He took with the bishop. I kind of expected knight takes more, and here I saw this beautiful idea. After bishop takes b2, knight c4, take it on a1 is actually quite dangerous because I may get mated. But instead, I have this nice bishop a6, again, using this intermezzo tactic. The bishop on a2 is hit, so is the knight on c4, and I'm doing quite well. And I think it's just normal position.
Yeah, white just has no good moves here.
Yeah.
Like rook b1, you just go back.
Yeah, rook b1, I can go back, I can take on c4 at any moment. So I can play bishop c3, for instance.
Right.
And it's not obvious how he's gonna play. Whereas I have a pretty nice...
Oh, and you're threatening bishop c4, queen h4, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a nice
Nice
tactic.
double
Yeah,
attack.
so double attack on the bishop and the h6 and the c4 bishops.
Yeah.
So that's why he played a different line. He played bishop takes f6 here. So after h6, he took with the bishop, which kind of surprised me because I think if he gives me the bishop pair, I should be better.
Right.
But he has a tempo move, bishop b5 first, which was really annoying because I don't have e7 square for the rook, and e5 looked kind of suspicious. And here I played rook f8, which is from a famous game, I think Larsen against Fischer, right?
Right.
That I cannot really block with the bishop because the pawn is hit, or with the knight. And I don't have any good squares for the rook, so I played rook f8. But here I had an interesting exchange sack. I did not really consider during the game, and I think I have some compensation because, well, I got the pawn for the exchange, the bishop's gonna go to e5, and then I'm gonna finally develop my queenside and get some counterplay. There's no open files for the rooks, that's important, and the bishop is a typical King's Indian bishop that keeps my position together.
Yeah, I mean, basically, when you sack the exchange and you get a pawn, it's like a pawn sacrifice, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So you don't need some huge attack, you just need some
a solid
compensation.
position, yeah.
Right.
And his pawns are broken up, so it's a playable position, but not the one that I really was interested in, so I played rook f8. I wasn't quite ready to sack everything yet. And he plays a really good move, knight c4. He could have taken on f6, but I think knight c4 makes more sense. It's a tempo move, and he plays another tempo move.
Queen d2.
And now I was really perplexed. If I play something normal like king h7, then queen f4, and how am I going to protect the pawn? So that's why I had to play this ugly looking move g5, which I didn't want to play, but it weakens my king side a lot. And he plays immediately a3, which makes a lot of sense, undermining my position. I have to take. I played a6 to get counterplay, and try to get this rook over. Maybe if I get f5, bishop f6, the rook can swing over to g7. But he plays this good move, rook b3, quickly putting pressure on the knight on b8. Again, the knight can't move. This knight is basically the main problem on my game the whole time.
Right.
It doesn't have any good square.
So you're always looking to play knight d7,
Right.
but if you can just take on d6, then you can't
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
a nice pawn. He's going to have a nice passed pawn. This bishop on a4 does a good job supporting the pawn.
Right.
So I played bishop rook b7, and here he played h4, which a little bit provocative move, but it's totally playable. I thought during the game rook takes b7 was stronger, and now my bishop is misplaced because it's now hitting the pawn, and after knight g3, it's not obvious how I'm going to protect the f5 square. So with normal moves followed by, c3, bishop c2, I think white is just slightly better. If I can't develop my knight, he may be just outright winning.
Right.
So this is a very difficult position.
Yeah.
So he played h4, which is quite interesting. He took with the pawn, which surprised me, but I actually thought that he might have blundered this q tactic, which he thought he probably is winning here, right? And now this looks devastating. There must be some kind of killer discover check.
I mean,
but there's none.
That's funny. Oh, so he was planning to take with the bishop on b3.
That's my guess, yeah.
Which strategically makes a lot more sense.
And then there's no tactic. Anywhere you jump, like knight e5, knight b6, I just play king g7, everything's protected, he's down a piece. So he took an interesting pawn move, c takes b. Now this bishop on a4 is cut out from the game, but surprisingly it fights for this e8 square, which is really important.
Right.
So I played f5, f4, and I simply won the pawn. And here I got a little bit ambitious, thinking that I'm better. In reality, though, I'm not even sure. With this knight stuck on b8, I may not be better at all. Maybe good enough for equality.
Yeah, such a weird position. I mean, the bishop on a4, I saw your game, I think, around this point. It just looks completely misplaced. It should be on d3, and then white has a great position. But then, yeah, just hitting e8. You never have rook e8. You can't play queen e8.
I can't get my pieces organized.
So
I played the move. So he played king h2, which makes sense. I played a move that made a lot of sense during the game, rook f5, very aggressive move. So now I want to play h3, pawn takes rook h5, going for mate. But after his next move, I was a little bit shocked to realize that I have really no good defense against, for instance, let's say h3, this idea. And now the back rank is really bad.
Of course, and it's bishop on a4.
Yeah, that's because of that bishop on a4. So this knight ed6 is constantly up in the air. And I had to basically make the most difficult decision in chess, guys.
Well, maybe this is a good puzzle.
Yeah, let's see if you can figure it out.
Right, like black to play, your position is not good, but you have to find the best move.
The best move in the position.
Okay, so what'd you do?
I decided to take a move back. I played rook f8. Basically admitted my mistake. Basically, a lot of people, are reluctant to admit their mistake and take the move back, but this is the best move in the position.
Right, because you have to make the move in front of your opponent.
Right, and I basically admitted to my opponent, I just gave you a free move. So the position was with the rook on f1, now it's with the rook on e1 and it's white to play.
Right.
Luckily enough, black did not have any better moves than rook f5. The evaluation doesn't change, black is still solid, but it gave my opponent this wrongful kind of information that he thinks I'm just like seriously worse. So he lashes out with b4, which is a very double-edged move because he removes the queen from I and that f4 pawn and allows me to finally develop one of my bishops, the bishop f5, one of my pieces. The knight on b8 is still stuck, but at least the bishop is participating in the game. And here he had a very interesting idea, knight e takes d6. But I think no human will play it unless you know for certain that this is a good move. I think I have to play a5, queen here. By the way, because of that pin, neither the knight nor the queen can take on a5. And after this, the position is still double-edged. I'm not even sure who is better.
Yeah, it's hard for white to go for this because he can't move any of his knights, he can't move his queen.
He's totally stuck, yeah.
It's very hard to just untangle here.
Yep.
But from black's point of view, it's also hard to... Because if you play knight b4, then he's unpinned. He takes on f5.
Plus there is this, if rook f6, there is knight b7, using tempo on the queen. So it's not so obvious. So he played f3, which also makes sense. So it's not he's actually playing really well for a first round opponent. So I played knight d7. Again, here he could have taken...
So, sorry, what was his rating again? It was like...
he's almost 2200. I want to say like high 2100s. He plays queen b7 instead, which makes sense. And I played knight f6, knight takes, bishop takes. And here he just got his material back. He got the pawn back, but like I mentioned earlier, his king is really weakened. The queen is far away from the action. I can quickly get my pieces in the game. So bishop d3, using the fact that the knight is pinned. He tries to protect the knight with the move b3. I basically play bishop d4. And now you guys see my idea is to play queen g5, queen g3, and just go for a deadly attack. He took on d6, gave me check, and we're both in time pressure at the moment. He plays queen g4, which I think is the only move. And now I took, and then this is a really interesting endgame. His pieces are still terrible, but he's got this really annoying d pawn, which is the pride of his position and cannot be stopped. So my only chance is to play for checkmate.
Because you have very few pawns left yourself.
Yes, I have very few pawns, so I gotta play for checkmate. I've got beautiful bishops, so I activate one of them. He plays rook e6, check, and here he made the horrible blunder. He played king h3. It looks like the safest square for the king. But in reality, this is a pretty big mistake because of my next move. Let's see, guys, if you can figure out my next idea.
So black to play. Black
to play and win. And so he just made move 40, but unfortunately that's not good enough because with the next move f3, if you would have seen it, it's game over. Because he actually thought for a little bit longer, took the pawn, and got mated.
Wow.
That's a funny way to finish the game.
Wait, so this was move 41, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you were telling me, I mean, at move 40 you get more time.
Yeah, you get 30 minutes added.
And then he just casually made this move.
He just casually made the move because he saw that the pawn is about to go to f2 and a queen.
Yeah.
I think he's already lost.
But I guess the real mistake was king h3.
King h3 loses, yeah. So he should have gone to the first rank. So after... It looks kind of scary, right? Because he is basically in the mating net if I get my rook to f1 somehow.
Right.
But, it's not so obvious. So I played f3. I mean, I plan to play f3 rather, and after pawn takes, rook takes, he just plays d6. And he's about to play d7, d8 queen, and I have nothing better than just give perpetual. And the game would have finished in a logical conclusion draw.
Right. Yeah, he played really well.
Yeah. So hats off to my opponent for playing a really good game. I was really lucky that he missed checkmate and that winning idea, but it was a great game.
Nice. Okay, I'll save this one. All right, so yeah, my game was actually, I mean, pretty smooth. It was kind of more positional game. I was playing 2100, and he goes for this.
And where is he from?
He's Icelandic. He's
Icelandic,
local.
okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Icelandic kids that are around this rating, like 21, 2200. So I'm normally playing the Taimanov, and he goes for close Sicilian with d3.
Right, so this is a normal setup for white?
Yeah. And here I chose this move, rook b8. So I don't want to talk too much about the opening because I don't want to reveal secrets.
Okay.
But I do like this line for black.
But basically the plan for white is to try to checkmate black on the king side and black to counterplay in the center on the queen side here.
Right. So rook b8 is really useful because the idea is to play b5. And of course with this bishop on g2, I always have to watch out for e5.
Right.
And there are a lot of lines where the knight on c6 is hanging, but nothing else. So he plays e5, I just move the knight and no problem.
No problem.
So he played h3, knight d7, g4.
So he's starting that pawn storm.
And b5. Yeah, this is all basically...
and it's actually good advice to people here for black. Don't push your kingside pawns here because you're actually playing on the weaker side. So,
well, there will be some moments actually. But yeah, so here he played g5 very early. But my
Knight
main
G3
prep goes
maybe?
knight g3. I think this is the key move because...
And now if b4, knight now has a free square.
Exactly. But there is some analysis here. I think, for example, I think black plays knight d4. And then if white plays g5,
f5 or g5, yeah. Then
actually this f6 move can be very useful for black.
Because white is not quite ready to meet black's counterplay. I see.
Right. So when I was analyzing these lines, this move comes up a lot. So I was kind of ready to play it during a game, even though it looks suspicious.
Well, you have control over the center, as they say. If you control the center, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think black is okay here. Anyways, if you guys want to learn more about the opening, I'm starting a Patreon page that I'm going to link to in the description. And then you can get the PGen of this game as well as some additional notes for actually what I think about the opening and some more critical lines. So the information is available, but you got to go somewhere else to get it.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so now he plays g5, which is dubious because now b4,
and knight has to go back. Yeah.
Knight b1. So this decision I think was interesting. I played e5 here.
Yeah, that's a very unusual move in these setups.
Because, well,
he can't play f5. Okay.
Right, because the g5 pawn is hanging.
Right.
So of course, it's all based on tactics, right? I can't allow f5.
Right.
Under
Otherwise, you'd
conditions.
be under serious attack. Right?
But my idea was, okay, he plays h4, which I think is forced.
And now you take the pawn,
take
and you
on
get the
f4,
e5 outpost.
And knight e5.
Yep, and once the knight establishes on e5, classical Sicilian outpost, black is fine.
Yeah, I thought I was okay here. Now, I was actually, I kind of, I faced some demons, because normally I don't like giving up the two bishops. So knight d5 was at first kind of...
a little scary, but then you can just play bishop g4, and
yeah, bishop
take
g4,
the queen.
And knight d4 is coming.
Yeah, and you got so much better development.
Yeah.
No, this is overwhelming for black.
And then I have any knight to f3 or bishop f3, so I felt like this was
great. Or even f6 here.
Yeah, an f6 I always have, exactly. Yeah. But he played bishop e3, which covers d4, but then after knight g4, I didn't understand what his idea was.
Right, it's a tempo on the bishop.
Because if he goes back, he just lost some time. And then I can play like h6.
h6, yeah, and bishop h4.
So he played queen d2, and then I made some lengthy calculation, but I figured h6 is good.
Yeah.
And then he went down the critical line, basically. Knight d5.
Knight takes bishop.
Yeah, he takes mine.
Yeah. Queen takes, queen e3.
And I take on g5.
Take on g5.
And he's left with this weakness.
Yeah. And his knight again on b1 is stuck.
Right. And it actually, things get very bad, because after hg5, I have queen e5.
Oh, another tempo on the pawn.
The pawn is
he has to play c3, which is ugly.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't go for it kind of understandably. I think I just played rook b2.
Yeah, no, that looks terrible.
Then rook f2 I trade, has to take with the king, and again f6.
f6 killer, yeah.
And then f5. So yeah, here I felt very good. Actually, normally I don't like grabbing the b pawn, but here it looks so good that...
Yeah.
Also, it's important that I have queen b2, and I can immediately come back queen d4.
And trade queens, yeah.
So he played knight d2. I took, and knight c4. But I think he just kind of miscalculated here because I do keep my
Can you play
pawn.
d4 and hit the c2 pawn after the trade?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then not only that, knight c2, rook c1, I'll have knight e3 with another tempo.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot he can do. So he takes.
So it's all forced now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take on c2, knight e3.
Although I think maybe I should have thrown in this first, rook b6.
Ah, that's a nice finesse move. So the rook can swing over to g6 at some moment.
Rook comes to g6, and he can never play rook c1 because I have knight e2 check. So I thought maybe he plays e5.
Right, e5 looks forced.
But then I take. And I realized this only after I made my move. But here, if he plays rook f2, which he kind of wants to do, I have knight g4.
Ah, and if rook e2, knight...
I think just like bishop e6 and... Oh wait, maybe this pawn is hanging. Oh, maybe this is not that good. Actually,
Not
for
so
some
clear,
reason
yeah.
I thought I'm just winning the pawn.
So the way you play it, I think, makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess then this is fine. Because, yeah, I don't think I gave him a whole lot of chances here. Okay, he played rook f3, which I didn't like. I thought he had to play rook f2 because he has to defend the a2 pawn.
a2 is weak,
So I
exactly.
have bishop e6. Then my plan is to take, rook take.
And in these positions, the bishop is better than the knight.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I was
Bishop
gonna,
e6,
I think
or
I was
bishop
gonna
h3.
bother him.
Yeah, rook h2 and then bishop e6.
Right.
So he has to take on c5 and rook d1, d8. So rook takes c5, rook d8, e5 is forced.
Or maybe this one.
Rook b6 and rook a6.
Yeah.
I like that more.
I
e5 and rook a6.
I think this was my idea. But actually, maybe I'm not sure about pushing his rook here because now he has
the idea to swing the rook to
some more.
like
Yeah,
h-file.
he's faster.
Yeah.
I can also play, let's say, yeah, just bishop e6 here.
Right.
Or I was thinking rook b6 right away.
Tempo on the knight. Yeah, that's...
Because then e5 kind of leads to the same thing, but then again I get bishop e6, rook a6, and I probably win the
for
pawn.
sure he should have gone for this.
Yeah.
This is the only chance that white has.
Right. The way he went for it in the game, rook f3 doesn't defend a2 pawn.
Yeah, he's gonna lose another tempo once the pawn is hit, and he just gave it up.
Yeah, he took on c5.
Yeah, now it's game over.
And yeah, I think he kind of really starts misplaying. Like the mistakes start coming in pairs because not only do I get the pawn, but like everything is set up perfectly. My rook is already behind.
Yeah, and the pawn can be just pushed.
And the bishop is ready here.
Two moves and you got a queen.
Okay, so he went for a cheapo, knight f5.
So the idea, guys, can you find the idea if you play b3?
Right, b3 just runs into this nice mate.
Yeah.
Although I did beat 2600 GM once. Like
what's the name of those mates when you do 97?
This is Anastasia's mate.
Anastasia's mate. Yeah, it's a famous mate, guys. So you gotta solve your tactics.
Okay, so g6. I think simple move, and
so
I get a
check.
square.
You got the escape score for the king of g7. Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm always ready to play rook h8 and take over this.
And the knight should be on f6, even if he wants to create some mating.
Right. But he's just never in time to create a new play
so
here.
now it just should be losing.
One line you have to see is knight c6. You can just play b3, just give the exchange.
Takes.
And he has no way to stop
just
the pawn.
b2, b1. Yep.
Right.
Easy win.
So he played rook f2, so he's blockading on b2. And I could play b3, but then the bishop gets stuck, so I played bishop b1.
Yeah.
And somehow he just has no good way of defending this pawn. Knight c6, I was thinking about just taking both pawns as well. I figured this should be
this R11.
pretty easy win, because I'll just put the bishop on f5 and no
and start
counterplay.
pushing the pawns.
Yeah. So he played rook d5.
Yeah, can you push?
I pushed, rook b2, bishop c2.
Yeah, the rook is locked.
Now the rook is done. And actually, I have two winning plans here. Either I get my rook to the a file, I play rook a2.
Or trade everything.
I trade this rook, and then his rook is stuck.
Yeah.
So any rook trade is going to be good here. But I like the finish. So knight c6, rook b6. If takes, I just go here.
Knight is trapped, more or less.
Yeah, and then rook a2.
Rook a2.
And he has no way of taking and then getting to the a file. So he played knight e5. Rook a6.
With idea rook a2.
Rook d7. Now rook a2, he takes on a7.
Right.
So I found really great maneuver here. I played rook a5.
Intermezzo, yeah. Kick that knight back.
And I'm hitting the pawn.
So if knight f3, then you can play rook a2.
Well, knight f3...
no,
rook a2,
you can still play rook a8 first.
Straight, but yeah, I'll make some preparatory move.
Rook
a8.
a8 and rook a2, yeah.
And then d4, this pawn is hanging.
Right. So he's basically lost. So rook e7 first.
Rook e7, yeah, just to hold. And then, so rook a8. Okay, I don't want to give up the
Yeah.
pawn. So, well, good puzzle, right? How does black achieve this? Rook
Can you
a2,
play a6?
a6.
Oh,
Exactly.
excellent. I solved the puzzle.
Actually, it was so funny. When I played a6, he kind of flinched, like he missed it.
Oh,
Because he was looking at the position, he doesn't see how I make
how
progress.
to black? Yeah, black's paralyzed.
Right, then I play a6, and he wrote his move down, and then he put an exclam on his score sheet.
On his score sheet.
Yeah, he like annotated the move. Because he was so impressed with this, strategic
Right,
finesse.
but after a6, he has to put an exclam on your
And then it's lost. He played king f3 because the
rook
d3
a2,
pawn is
and it's
hanging.
resigned. Yeah.
Right, because knight c4 holds everything, but I take on d3,
Yeah, and it's just collapsing.
and the pawn is promoting.
All right, nice win. Pretty easy one.
Yeah. So round 2, we'll have actually 2 rounds tomorrow. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll do one video for both games.
Yeah, if we have time.
And if you guys enjoy the game, you have to let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we just won't do this anymore.
And for everybody who loves the Accelerated Dragon, you should check out my website, chessopeningsexplained.com, where for a small fee, you get to watch a bunch of videos that I do Accelerated Dragon and other openings. It's a repertoire-based website.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description.
Thanks, guys.
All right, see ya.